Now that I finally finished playing the game Mario+Rabbids Sparks of Hope, which is actually the very first Mario+Rabbids game I've ever played. I never played the first one because I was actually never interested, but the second one really gave some really good storytelling. Graphics and all the designs of everything in the planets and all, they were just absolutely great, freaking gorgeous. But as I said before about the story, this is where things get a really bit interesting because I really was very interested on how things actually played out once you completed the original story of the game. There are a few things what happens once you get to the very end of the game. And that's exactly what I want to talk to you about today. Yo, what's happening, my awesome mad lads? My name is Mad Dog and welcome back to another mad theory. Today, this theory is going to be all about Mario+Rabbids Sparks of Hope, as I just earlier mentioned. And yes, as I said before as well, story. The story is actually one of the most very interesting things that really kept me going with this entire game. And what could this actually possibly lead to for another 3D Mario game? We know that there's actually going to be a new 2D Mario game, but how long is that going to take? Probably a while, but that's fine with me. There's been a lot of things going on, like what's going to be the next Super Mario 3D game, perhaps. So many options will always be put out there. Well, now let's take a look of what's been happening throughout the first story. We know that in the story of Mario+Rabbids Sparks of Hope, that an evil entity named Cursa was actually interrupting the entire galaxy. We, as every single player in this freaking game, we had to actually take down one of Cursa's hybrids. And then, of course, defeat Cursa herself. We now know that the reveal of Cursa wasn't technically Rosalina. Rosalina was more of a vessel to Cursa, because technically speaking, that Rosalina was actually being mind controlled by the real Cursa that was actually being revealed. This is Cursa. This is the real deal. What we also get to know about this Cursa is that she was actually a descendant of the Mega Bug from the very first game. Remember when it possessed Mega Dragon Bowser? Well, it's sort of like that. In this case, Cursa is technically its own personal character, like it's completely new. It may be a descendant, but man does this character have a lot more power than the usual. This character can actually mind control all other characters such as Goombas or Chemics, let alone that, of course, she was the one who actually took over Rosalina's mind to actually gain more energy from the sparks. But there's some other very interesting things as well about Cursa that you probably might have missed. You remember the Dark Mess doppelgangers of Bowser and Edge? Yeah. These guys looked absolutely amazing as Dark Mess doppelgangers of Bowser and Edge, and they looked incredible. However, one stuck out for me the most, and I'm talking about Dark Mess Bowser. Take a very good look to see what the heck he actually reminds you of. Black all over himself and his body, his eyes glow, plus his spikes and a bit of his hair actually do glow red. Who do you think that actually reminds you of? Well, it should be pretty obvious. It's actually Fury Bowser from Bowser's Fury, the one time when Bowser was actually covered in black paint. But then that's when it actually got me thinking. Could it be possible that the black paint from Bowser's Fury could have actually been Dark Mist from the entire time? Dark Mess has not just only been a puddle of darkness, but it can also power up enemies as well, such as, well, Bowser, for example, by the looks of things, since it probably might actually be the exact same goop that was from Bowser's Fury. Not to also mention Sparks of Hope, it also managed to possess but also power up Chemics and Goombas. Not sure if the Wiggler counts aside from those giant eyeballs, but I wasn't quite sure if that counts as possessing or powering them up, because that Wiggler was not technically fully covered by the Dark Mist. It was just nothing but covered in eyeballs of the Dark Mist. The only difference between Dark Mist Bowser and Fury Bowser is that basically, sure, they have the same glowing eyes, but the color of the eyes was that one, Fury Bowser's eyes was actually white. Darkness Bowser's eyes were glowing yellow. At least the rest of them actually resembled the same thing back from Bowser's Fury. So I give that a thumbs up there. But once you actually battle against Edge, you get to hear a quote from Genie where she technically says that Cursa actually uses a DNA blueprint to actually replicate the exact same powers of Edge and Bowser. DNA, huh? DNA blueprints of Edge and Bowser, huh? But when I remember hearing those words DNA, that really stuck out to me the most. Using DNA blueprints, or like somehow at least absorb some sort of DNA? Who do you think that reminds you of? A character that can actually also use the abilities to actually bring up some kind of DNA or absorb DNA and make them look exactly the same thing but with their different new look to make them their own way. Making their power their own. I am talking about the one, the only, the legendary, and the most darkest character of all time in the Mario franchise, the Dark Star. Yep, that's right. It seems like that maybe perhaps that there's some sort of power abilities that are kind of similar when it comes to the Dark Star and Cursa. Like I said, they both actually use the powers of DNA to actually make their own forms and best abilities to make them their own. The Dark Star actually managed to absorb Bowser's DNA and actually make a full-on form of Dark Bowser. A full-on stray copycat of Bowser, which was actually used from Bowser's DNA and making it the Dark Star his own form. As for Cursa, not as much. She just basically used the DNAs of both Bowser and Edge to actually make them her minions, instead of actually transforming them into her own form, but making them her own minions instead. She could have actually used to actually absorb the DNA of Rosalina to make her own copycat version of Rosalina, which could be cool, but I guess I understand why they didn't decide to do that. I mean, look at that form that she already has. It's already enough as freaking creepy as it is already. Take a look at the mask as well. Its eyes actually move. And to be honest, those eyes kind of actually do similar to actually the Dark Star as well when he was in his original form. Sort of like that droopy but angry dark looking version eyes that you can see right there. Just completely stern. Very serious. And no, please do not freaking talk about this dark mess being a part of, Paper Mario, Color Splash, okay? That one doesn't technically count. Sure, it's kinda close, especially when Paper Bowser actually went into the paint, but all of a sudden the whole paint, instead of getting rainbow, he got freaking black paint instead, which, it's not technically the same. It's pretty much clear that the dark mess is more relative and more accurate than having the paint from freaking Paper Mario Color Splash. Also, due to the fact that since, Bowser Jr. did kind of team up in the final battle of Kingdom Battle in the first game, how he said that he might actually turn into the good side, maybe. But then also when Bowser's Fury, Bowser Jr. actually did ask Mario for help, and guess what? Bowser Jr. actually helps us on the way as well. The same thing now goes with Bowser in Sparks of Hope. Since that he actually then helps Mario and company, it may be possible that Bowser may also feel the same way. Though, he probably may not admit to that yet. Also, since that due to the fact that Bowser was angry at Mario, would it be possible that Bowser actually wanted that power to actually destroy Mario once and for all? Is that why that happened? Once that power was discovered, that's why he actually wanted to go against him after when he was fully free. It's really actually hard to tell whether that freaking power of his, when he was in his Fury state, was he truly possessed? Or was it even possession at all, unless he actually wanted that power to all for himself? Which actually now comes to my very crazy, interesting, sort of like conclusion that I wanted to bring up for this video. As everything that I mentioned so far and how I believe that Dark Mess is related to Bowser's Fury and how the Dark Star could be somewhat related to the Cursa, Sparks of Hope now that it's finally out, this could actually lead to one game that we might actually get, and it could be another sequel of this particular game. I mean, think about it. Sparks of Hope was based on like a Super Mario Galaxy sort of thing, right? It was just basically a strategy shoot 'em up. However, that's the thing. Yeah. What if this whole entire game of Sparks of Hope was actually supposed to lead to the next Super Mario Galaxy game, Super Mario Galaxy 3? Now, a lot of people have been talking about having a Super Mario Galaxy 3 before, and I don't blame them, because Super Mario Galaxy 3 would make a whole lot of sense, but in a way that no one has actually really mentioned on how this was actually going to be played out. The thing is, I've actually been working on a few things that could possibly have in a Super Mario Galaxy 3 game. One that in particular involves with the Dark Star. So it could be possible that the Dark Star might actually come back to a Super Mario Galaxy 3 as a 3D platformer and no longer a RPG like Bowser's Inside Story. As much as I would love to tell you what sort of story I decided to come up with, but if you actually do want to hear this story and make this as a series, then please let me know. Please like and subscribe, and also smash that comment down below perhaps. And if you actually want to see this sort of series, then I can work on that if you want. Just let me know in the comments below. Hey guys, Future Mad Dog here. Just want to quickly talk about something real quickly before I wrap this video up. But if you know the new 2D Mario game, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, you might have actually noticed this enemy in particular, which actually is a version of Bowser Jr. And if you notice, he looks very close to Dark Bowser from Mario and Luigi's Bowser's Inside Story. And that's the thing. This really kind of reminds me a lot of Dark Bowser specifically. However, the color palette has changed a little bit. Instead of having red eyes, it's green eyes. But regardless, it could actually mean that this version of Bowser Jr. could possibly be possessed, and it could have to do something in relation with the Dark Star. So it's a possibility that the Dark Star might be coming back in Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and we might actually get some real juicy details about the origins of the Dark Star, which will be very fascinating as well. I am definitely going to be making a series when that game comes out. You watch. I'm going to be very excited when it comes out so I can figure out who's actually the villain. Is the Dark Star in this? Did the Dark Star himself actually get a bit of an upgrade? Who the heck knows, but I would love to see. Aside the fact that I talked about having a Super Mario Galaxy 3, but you know what? I'm kind of happy that they actually did that, and regardless, I cannot wait for that to happen. So please, Nintendo, hopefully you've put the Dark Star back into this 2D game, because I would love to see that and get to see Dark Bowser Jr. and Dark Bowser again in this new form. Overall, that is it for today's video, and that's why I think that Sparks of Hope is actually going to be somehow relevant to actually making the third 3D Mario game a Super Mario Galaxy 3. So, what do you think? What do you guys think? Do you think this is what it's supposed to lead to? Do you think that Sparks of Hope would actually lead to Super Mario Galaxy 3? And would the Dark Star actually return to Super Mario Galaxy 3 if there would possibly be one? And also, as I said before, let me know in the comments below if you actually want to see what would it be like in the story for a Super Mario Galaxy 3. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like, please like, subscribe after when you finish watching, or if you have already, that is great. This is something that I really wanted to talk about for a long time, and since that Sparks of Hope was the one way to be able to do it, then guess what? I felt like doing it. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. As always, my name is Mad Dog, and let your days be mad and rad.